Hey students, in this video, I'd like to talk about a utility found on the Unix and Linux operating systems named tar. Tar is a program which collects and stores multiple files into a single file called an archive or tarball. This utility can also be used for manipulating the archive file by adding additional files, removing unwanted files, and much more. Tar not only stores the individual files, but stores directory structures with the subdirectories and files within them. Tar can capture file metadata like the last accessed date and the file permissions. These capabilities make tar a valuable tool for administrators, programmers, and everyday users looking for a way of distributing and backing up directories and files. Now you might ask yourself, why did they name an archiving tool tar? And that's a very good question. Actually, tar is a shortened version of the words tape archive. When tar was developed in the 70s, tape drives were a popular device for storing and backing up data. For those of you who are not familiar with tape drives, they read and write data onto magnetic tapes. These tapes can later restore the data on the same machine or share the data with another machine. If you watch this video in its entirety, you will learn how to create an archive from a single directory using tar, add bzip2 compression to a tar file, add and explain the purpose of the verbose option, and extract an archive file in the current directory. We've got a lot to get through, so let's get started. To start, you can see I'm in my home directory, indicated by the tilde. I'll run the print working directory command, pwd, type enter on the keyboard, and the path of my working directory displays. To help you visualize the file system, I'll add a diagram of the directory structure to the right. You can see I'm in root, indicated by the / home, prof quin. Next, I'll type ls to list the contents of the directory. And you can see that there are a few directories, including one called stuff to read. This is the directory I'm going to archive. Let's do a little exploring. The cd command can be used to change directories. So I'll type cd stuff to read to navigate to the directory. Remember that you can type part of a directory or file name and press the tab key on the keyboard to complete it. If there are no other files or directories with a name that begins with those letters, it'll automatically fill in the rest of the text. ls again shows that stuff to read contains 3 folders: Eastern Philosophy, Scary Stuff, and Shakespeare. Now I'll use ls with the directory path to display the contents of each folder. ls Eastern Philosophy shows me the files Autobiography of a Yogi.txt, Bhagavad Gita.txt, and the Tao Te Ching.txt. In the diagram, you'll notice that we differentiate files from directories by using ovals for directories and rectangles for regular files. I'm still in the stuff to read directory, so ls Scary Stuff displays the files in that directory, which are Dracula.txt, Frankenstein.txt, and since I'm a Baltimore guy, the Works of Edgar Allan Poe Volume 1.txt. Then for some light reading, we can run ls Shakespeare to see Hamlet.txt, Macbeth.txt, and Romeo and Juliet.txt. I want to collect these files and the directory structure that contains them into a single archive file. First, I'll use cd ... to navigate to the directory above the current working directory, so I'm in my home folder again. To create the archive, first I'll type the command tar. Then I'll type -c to create the archive. Next I'll type F, followed by the name that I want to call my archive. Let's say that I want to call my archive file myreadings.tar. I'll type this name immediately after the F option. It is crucial that you type the file name after the F option. Don't forget this very important point. Lastly, we want to type the name of the directory we wish to archive, which is stuff to read. I type my enter key and I see the command prompt again. If I type ls-l, I'll see the stuff to read folder is still there, but now we have a tar file named myreadings.tar. I'm going to delete the existing tar file to show you two additional options that we could have used. I'll delete the file with rm myreadings.tar. I'm going to press the up arrow on the keyboard 3 times to move through our command list to show the command we used to create the tar file. Between the C and the F, I'll add J to compress the file with bzip2, and I'll add V to run tar in verbose mode. With verbose mode, the files will display to standard output as they are added to the archive. I can type ls-l and you'll notice that the C and F options produce a tar file as it did before. However, you'll notice that the size is 1040719 bytes, or about 1 megabyte, which is more than 3 times smaller than when we omitted the J option for bzip2 compression. Now, let's explore extracting the tar file. Imagine that I've sent this file to a coworker so we can start a reading club. She has the tar file but doesn't have the directory structure. To simulate this, I'll delete the directory with my reading materials. I'll type rm-r stuff to read to delete the directories, subdirectories, and files. Then I'll check that the directory is gone with ls-l. And you'll see that there's no more stuff to read. I still have the compressed tar file, but no directory. Let's recreate the folder by extracting the tar file. I'm in the directory where I want to extract my file, so I'll type the command tar-x jvf myreadings.tar. The X option extracts the tar file. This will recreate the stuff to read folder and all of the subdirectories and files underneath of it. J is used to uncompress the file using the bzip2 algorithm. V is used to display the files to standard output as they are extracted. And F is followed by the name of the file that we are extracting. I'll press Enter on the keyboard, and verbose mode shows me the work as it's being done. I can now type ls-l to see the stuff to read directory has been created. If I want to look into the folders, I can run ls-R stuff to read to display the subdirectories and files within the stuff to read directory. You'll notice the Eastern philosophy, scary stuff, and Shakespeare directories have been recreated, and each of the directories contains all of the associated files we saw previously. So we've recreated our directory structure and the files from the archive file. In this tutorial, we discussed using the tar utility in Linux to archive a directory and all of its subdirectories and files. We discussed options for running tar in the verbose mode and compressing the archive with the bzip2 utility. After creating the archive, we worked with the extract option. Please realize that we just scratched the surface. There's so much more that you can do with this utility, like adding and removing files, listing the contents of the tar file without extracting, preventing the overwriting of files during the extraction process, and the list goes on and on. I hope this video gets you started with using tar, and I hope that you found this information valuable and enlightening.